The midday sun burned Red Rock Crossing into a haze of heat and dust. Sam Hart, one of the town's wealthiest ranchers, rode past the market square with his son, Daniel, perched behind him. The boy's small hand clutched the reins, and his eyes scanned the crowds with curiosity. As they passed the corner where old Mrs. Book, Clayton sold vegetables, Daniel tugged gently on Sam's sleeve. "Father, look," he whispered. Sam turned, expecting a street performer or a stray dog, but instead, he saw her. She crouched on the ground, a tattered shawl over her shoulders, hands cupped around a tin cup. Her eyes lifted briefly, catching his for a heartbeat, and something in Sam's chest twisted painfully. Recognition hit before he could speak. Daniel's voice was soft but clear. "Father, that's Ma." Sam's mouth went dry. He'd thought she was gone forever, lost to the hardships of life and the choices he had made. Yet here she was, older, worn, but unmistakable, the woman he had once promised to protect, now begging in the sun-baked street. The boy looked at his father wide-eyed, and Sam felt the weight of years crash down. He had built his fortune, his ranches, his reputation, but at what cost? The world they lived in had taken her away, and now it had brought her back in the most humbling way possible. Sam dismounted, boots crunching in the dust. Daniel clung to his side, unsure whether to cheer or cry. The crowd gave him a wide berth, sensing the tension in the air. Every step Sam took toward her felt like walking back into a memory he had buried for decades. "Mary," he breathed, voice barely audible. She looked up fully now, sun catching the lines etched into her face, and for a moment, time itself seemed to pause. I didn't expect," she stammered, voice fragile. Sam knelt slowly, trying to keep his pride at bay. "I know," he said simply, "but I'm here now." Daniel tugged at his father's sleeve again. "Father, will she come home with us?" Sam glanced at the boy, then back at her. The answer was complicated, tangled with years of absence, pain, and pride, but one thing was clear. Nothing in his life had ever mattered more than this moment. The afternoon sun sank lower, casting long shadows across the dusty street. Sam Hart stood frozen for a heartbeat, watching Mary straighten the folds of her tattered shawl. Daniel shuffled nervously behind him, unsure whether to speak or hide. Mary's eyes were cautious now, scanning Sam as if measuring whether the man who had once promised to protect her was still the same. "Sam, it's been a long time," she said softly. Her voice had a quiet strength that surprised him, despite the desperation in her appearance. "I know," Sam replied, his jaw tight. You should have," Mary interrupted. The words sharp, almost a whip.
"You promised, Sam."
"You left me with nothing but a name and a memory." Sam flinched. He had built his empire on ambition and hard work, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. The look in her eyes reminded him of the small, hopeful girl he had loved all those years ago. And now she was a woman, hardened, but still carrying pieces of the child he had once adored. Daniel tugged on his father's sleeve again. "Father, can we help her?" The innocence in the boy's voice pierced Sam's chest. He glanced down at his son and felt a wave of shame. How had he let this happen under his own watch? Mary looked at Daniel and then back at Sam. Her expression softened slightly, but her voice remained steady. "I've survived this long. I don't need pity, Sam. I need honesty. Do you even remember why you left?" The question hit him like a punch. Sam swallowed hard, feeling the weight of his own mistakes. I thought I was protecting you. I thought I could make something of myself first, then come back for you." Mary's eyes flicked to the ground, then to the tin cup in her hands. "And here I am, waiting, scraping by, hoping you'd remember me." Sam's hands clenched at his sides. The town around them seemed to fade into a blur. He had money, property, influence, but none of it mattered now. The only thing that mattered was the woman standing before him, the one he had abandoned, and the son they shared. "Mary," he said finally, voice low but filled with determination, "I will not make that mistake again. Not ever." You and Daniel, you both come home with me. I'll fix this. Mary held up a hand. It's not that simple, Sam. You can't just waltz back into my life and expect it all to be okay. No, he admitted. I don't expect it. But I will spend every day proving it to you. A tension hung between them, heavy and raw, as the sounds of the town drifted around them. Daniel stepped closer, tugging at Mary's hand. Please come with us, Ma. Please. Mary's gaze softened as she looked at her son. For the first time, her tough exterior cracked, and a tear ran down her cheek. All right, she whispered, voice trembling. For him, I'll try. Sam moved closer slowly, offering his arm, and Mary took it. Daniel clutched their hands together, a small smile breaking across his face. For a moment, the three of them stood in silence, the dust swirling around their boots like a blessing. But Red Rock Crossing was never quiet for long. From the far edge of town, the sound of hooves thundered, and voices shouted over the wind. Sam's head snapped toward the noise. Hey! Bandits, 5 of them, masked and armed, were charging straight down the main street. Mary froze. Daniel whimpered. Sam's jaw tightened. Stay behind me, he said, pulling Mary and Daniel close. I promise to protect you, and I intend to keep that promise. The dust kicked up as the riders drew closer. Sam's hand went to his holster, fingers tightening around the leather. Mary's eyes widened, fear and determination mingling. Daniel clung to his father, heart pounding. The first gunshot rang out, echoing across the street, followed by chaos. Townsfolk screamed, ducked, and scrambled for cover. Sam pulled Mary and Daniel behind a wooden barrel just in time as the first rider crashed past, bullets spitting sparks from the dusty ground. Father! Daniel yelled, wide-eyed. I've got this, Sam said through gritted teeth. He pushed Mary behind the barrel more firmly and drew his revolver. The bandit's eyes met his, and for the first time in decades, Sam felt the weight of responsibility fully pressing down. Not for land, not for money, but for the lives of the 2 people he had loved most in the world. The battle for Red Rock Crossing had begun, and Sam Hart knew there would be no turning back. The roar of gunfire echoed through Red Rock Crossing like thunder. The bandits, 5 in number, had split into 2 groups, 3 moving toward the general store and 2 toward the livery. Stay low! Sam hissed, pressing Mary and Daniel closer. The boys' hands were trembling and Mary's jaw was tight, but she held her ground, her eyes burning with determination. Sam fired a quick, precise shot at the nearest rider. The bullet struck the man's arm, forcing him to yell and pull back. Another bandit shouted from across the street, and the sound of horses galloping over wooden planks and dirt filled the air. Father, what do we do? Daniel cried, ducking behind the barrel. We fight smart, Sam said, scanning the street. Aim! Don't panic! Protect yourselves! He grabbed another revolver from his belt, checking the cylinder. Mary's hand went to her shawl, and with a grimace, she pulled out a small knife hidden in the folds. I'm not just standing here, she said. They're not taking us. Sam felt a surge of pride. The little girl he had left was gone. This woman, this mother, was fierce and unafraid. He nodded. Good, stay close. The first bandit made a bold dash toward the general store, trying to kick open the front door. Sam fired again, grazing the man's shoulder. He stumbled but didn't fall. From the corner of his eye, Sam saw Mary move like a shadow, stepping from behind the barrel and slashing at the man's leg with her knife. The bandit went down with a grunt. Daniel, inside! Sam ordered. The boy bolted into the store as Sam squared himself against the remaining riders. 2 bandits had circled around the livery, trying to trap townsfolk inside their homes. Sam fired, forcing them to scatter, then sprinted toward the main street to intercept them. Bullets whizzed past and dust exploded around their horses' hooves. Sam's focus was razor sharp. He moved with the same instinct he had honed on the frontier, protecting the people he loved. Mary stayed at the store, pulling Daniel close, helping townsfolk take cover behind barrels and crates. One of the bandits charged at the general store again, and Sam's revolver barked. The man collapsed, clutching his chest. The last two riders hesitated as the townsfolk shouted and brandished what weapons they could find. Then Sam took a deep breath and called out, his voice carrying over the chaos. "Red Rock Crossing stands! Leave now, or you won't leave at all." The bandits exchanged glances. They had underestimated this small town and the family standing at its heart. With a final curse, they turned their horses and fled, kicking up dust that hung like smoke over the street. Silence fell, heavy but alive with relief. Sam dropped to his knees, breathing hard. Mary ran to him, Daniel close behind, and they embraced him tightly. Tears ran down her cheeks. "You came back," she whispered, clutching his shoulders. "You really came back." "I promised," Sam said, voice hoarse. "And I meant it. I won't leave again." Daniel laughed shakily, wrapping his arms around both his parents. "We did it!" "We're safe." Sam stood, pulling Mary and Daniel close. The townsfolk slowly emerged from cover, their faces a mixture of awe and gratitude. Sheriff Hale approached cautiously, his eyes narrowing, then relaxing as he surveyed the scene. "You've got nerve, Hart," the sheriff said, "and skill. I underestimated you." "Not nerve," Sam said. "Love, protecting the people I care about." Mary looked at him, her expression softening fully now. "And you've proved it," she said. "Not just to me, but to him," she added, glancing at Daniel. The sun dipped lower, casting a warm glow over the town. Red Rock Crossing had survived, and so had their family. Sam held Mary's hand, feeling the warmth of her fingers against his. Their son smiled up at them, hope and love shining in his eyes. Later, as the dust settled and the town began to recover from the attack, Sam, Mary, and Daniel stood near the old oak at the edge of town. The tree had weathered storms just as they had weathered life apart. Mary leaned against Sam, whispering, 20 years. It shouldn't have taken this long." "I know," Sam said, brushing a strand of hair from her face, "but I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere." The wind rustled through the oak's leaves, carrying with it the promise of a new beginning. Red Rock Crossing would always have its dust, its heat, its struggles. But for Sam Hart, Mary, and Daniel, it would now also have hope, love, and the family they had fought so hard to be together. And under the wide open sky of the West, for the first time in decades, Sam smiled without regret.